We will move on to the first panel discussion being moderated by Mr. Dinesh Lal, Director, AMI Global Logistics Private Limited. I invite Mr. Dinesh Lal, then Captain Deepak Tiwari, Chairman, Container Shipping Lines Association, Mr. Shantanu Bhatkankar, President, Association of Multimodal Transport Operators of India, Mr. Sanjay Swaroop, Director, International Marketing and Operations, Container Corporation of India Limited, and Dr. Pramod Sant, the Vice President, Export, Import and Customs, Siemens Limited. So over to Mr. Dinesh Lal to moderate this session. I hope all the speakers are online.
Thank you very much, Umesh and Ram Prasad. Very interesting topic, and the way things are as presented by the government and Chairman Container Corporation. I think we need to relook at our businesses and so on. Just to give a preamble to where and how we started, the CFSs had a role to play and they did very well till such time things have changed. As you know that when the containerization had started and then it was doing very well, but all the containers were stuffed in the port and ports were not in a position to handle that kind of facility, the older ports. And then the new port of JNPT had come in 1989, and it was designed to for containers to move in as they are supposed to be, direct DPD and DPE. And whoever knows this history would know they had only one CFS of almost, I don't know the area, but I don't remember, it was either 25,000 or 16,000 square meter. That was operated by CWC, and that was owned by the port. Sooner they started, they realized they need place for consolidation or aggregation of cargo, and then they started the Kalamboli CFS of CWC. I'm raising this to give you an idea what happened historically. Similarly, in Chennai, Mumbai, and other ports, they did not have the facility to receive the cargo because historically the cargo came to the port and got cleared from the port. However, the JNPT further decided to go for privatization of more terminal, and at that time, the private players played a big role in setting up CFSs in and around JNPT, mainly in CITCO area, and Maersk were the first private CFS. Thereafter, as you know, it has grown up to 35 CFSs in JNPT, if not more, and similarly in Chennai, which were the two major ports at that time. And right now, out of the 140 CFSs, 50% are between JNPT, Chennai, Mundra, and Calcutta. Now, let's look at it. This helped in a big way for export and import cargo to move smoothly and so on. And there were problems. So what I'm just putting across, the private sector came as a boon to the ports in helping reduce congestion, make smoother movement of cargo, and increase productivity and throughputs of these ports. Now, from 2016, things have changed dramatically with DPD, which has now gone up to 40 to 50%, as mentioned earlier, and DPE. The government has made it very, very clear that until there is a value-added services given and the customers do not find a value, CFS model will be a bit of a problem. But my request to my panelists is to talk how do we re-engineer ourselves, how to reorganize ourselves, keeping in mind that the CFS operator went out of the way to support the port and the government at the time of need. And today, and also they invested heavily because the cost of capital was very high The land sold by CIDCO was equally high, and then the labor cost. Now they have done the job, and these facilities are expensive and need to be maintained well, and therefore we need to reorganize ourselves and make it that they're profitable, and it's a win-win to the port, the labor, the entrepreneurs who backed it up. So with that, I would request Captain Tiwari, who's an expert, he handles a lot of Indian cargo, maybe about 18 to 20% on his ships. Probably he will be very good and operate out of most ports in India, almost all. So I request Deepak Tiwari to say a few words, and then we will move on. Deepak, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. Very good afternoon to everybody. I was listening very, very carefully to the introductory speeches, as well as the speech from the officers from the government of India, Mr. Anant Swarup, and from the customs as well, and of course from MD Concor, Mr. Kalyanaraman, who's also considered an expert now as far as logistics is concerned, because Concor is one of the biggest logistics player in India, and they have also been very commercial. They have they have been just like as if they were any other private operator operating in India. My views as far as these ICDs and CFSs are concerned is from an outside point of view. Number one, the volumes are going to be there, both from the export-import, and they're growing, as well as domestic volumes. So the future of these facilities have to be looked at as a totality of both the domestic as well as the custom bonded areas to handle EXIM cargo. Mr. Kalyanaraman mentioned warehousing. Warehousing is one of the biggest guiding lights today, and one of the brightest shining lights in the logistics field. Warehousing can be encapsulated within these facilities. With that, unless and until little bit of manufacturing, refurbishing of goods, packaging of goods, and other value adds such as labeling, etc., can also be done at these respective CFSs. I personally feel that the government of India should be very, very careful when they lay policy and when they lay regulations to make sure that the logistics players are not hindered in their operations. Because, I mean, nomenclature is one thing, that a CFS is a nomenclature, ICD is a nomenclature, multimodal logistics part again is another nomenclature. So let not nomenclature lead policy and regulation. Let the regulation and policy facilitate all facilities that are currently existing and facilities that may come up in the future. Another thing I would like to add is that because of the volumes, as I mentioned earlier, the business is going to be there and the best will prosper. So that means you're looking at productivity, you're looking at price sensitivity, and you're looking at a number of value add services that customers want. So effectively, the client is going to be king. The client is going to dictate what is going to be the future as far as the CFSs, ICDs, multimodal logistics park, warehousing, etc. I am not agreeable to the government's demarcating areas by distance. This is an absolute misnomer. If you take logistics service providers out from cities like Mumbai, I mean, you take them out from the cities, yes. But if you take them too far from the port, then the pricing mechanisms change. And because of that pricing mechanism changing, the process will change. And this is going to only increase prices, is going to reduce productivity. So according to me, I would only just very quickly say that the government of India should look at holistic policy, should look at regulations that will facilitate all the facilities that have been set up, whether you call them an ICD, you call them a CFS, you call them multimodal national logistics park, you call them whatever. The point is not in the name. The point is that a facility that is existing should be given top speed permissions to do value add services. So if I have to now in an existing ICD or an existing CFS have to now apply to do refurbishing, packaging, manufacturing, minimal manufacturing of goods so that the finished products are ready for retail at the destination points for export, or even at the destination points as far as the distribution channel within India is concerned, then those permissions should not be such that you get permissions after 2 years. Those permissions should be automatic or maybe near automatic. They must be digital so that there is no interpersonal interpersonal interfaces. And we must make sure that conversions are allowed. Because if today's business model of custom clearance at a CFS or an ICD is the main focus, tomorrow if that particular facility needs a change, that change should be facilitated through our policy, through the regulations that exist. And that is the change we would like to see as a common man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Deepak. I'll come back to you on very valid points. And as usual, you know what you are saying. May I request Shantanu to join in and please say a few words. You have 5 minutes, Shantanu.
Yeah.
Welcome, Shantanu.
Thanks, Dinesh, and greetings to Gateway, CFSI, NACFS, fellow panelists, dignitaries, and participants. At the outset, a disclaimer that I am perfectly aware that every single CFS and ICD operators knows their business better than we do. I individually or even as AMTOI members, we know. I also know they are better businessmen and good entrepreneurs because they have invested at the right opportunity, and they are also better managers because we see the way they operate their freight stations. So I know all of them personally, almost all of them, and that's why I think we take liberty at a personal level to share our ideas. Maybe there are some areas of conflicts of interest because we are two different associations, different stakeholders, but I think we are matured to share in a friendly manner. Let me say that itself demonstrates the willingness of the ICDs and CFS to transform, and I am deliberately using word transform instead of change because it won't be a change that's coming for future. It will be a complete transformation, and there are a variety of reasons. The 5 minutes time is too short to distinguish between transformation and change, including for the CFS sector as I see. I also appreciate that you have brought the question of sustainability and you are in a questioning mode rather than you want endorsement from others. That's a very inspiring approach you have taken. Well, I am again sharing view as an outsider. So maybe some of the things I say are relevant, some of them are not so relevant. We all know that transformation is inevitable. In fact, Mr. Anand Swarup also brought out the issue of cannibalization of own product And it happens in all industry. We have to cannibalize our own product. Otherwise, we also are not fans of, like Captain Tiwari brought about too much regulations about distance or even about capacity. Like we can either say let the market forces operate or let government decide. When government decide, it cuts both ways. So let's have belief in market forces, or let's have belief in license permit Raj. It can't be best of both worlds. It doesn't happen. I would also give one analogy of sports arena, and all the stalwarts always say that pressure situations bring best out of professionals, and they deliver the best in pressure solutions. That's what I would expect. They also say that it is this situation that separates between men and boys. So we will see that happening in every sector, including amongst asset-light logistics service providers, not just those who have invested in assets. Having said that, as a user, I feel ICDs and CFS have big upside, because I think a lot more has to be done on value addition side and differentiation side instead of commoditization. Of course, I know it's easy said than done, but that's what entrepreneurial spirit and professionalism is about. I think first break will come when you consider service user as a customer. Well, you might claim we treat all as customer, but as a customer or as a service user, I still want to put emphasis on this point. Please consider the service users as customer. There will be a world of difference and better clarity about the role for future. In many forms, and that requires a dialogue, and we are willing to have dialogue as users, as Amptoy. We are happy to have a dialogue. Well, we just had a case about cold chain where I have suffered claim of 46 lakhs because the concerned CFS refrigeration facilities were not up to the mark. Now, having known that just having a facility is not enough, specialization is something more than that. A commodity specialization in hazardous cargo, in reefer cargo, in odd dimension cargo is lot more than creating something. It requires specialization. So I am not a fan of every freight station having some space allocated for hazardous cargo. Should be specialized is our position. With these few remarks, I would say work from home has changed. With these few remarks, I will make two concluding points. I would say work from home has changed the requirement of offices. One major forwarder has leased his big office and moved to a smaller office, and he is looking at sports at the pace. I think many of us are looking for that. So that's a model CFS can develop. Next thing, I think agricultural report will bring out the same change as 1991 reforms for industry. We will have a big upside in agriculture, and that's where, as Amptoy and individually, I am pleased to work with the freight stations, ICDs and CFS for brainstorming on this issue. We will jointly develop models for customers, and that's the way to forward. It's collaboration, competition, as we say, and we all become stronger. Thanks for this opportunity, and we hope we will have more opportunities in future. Namaskar. Back to you, Dinesh.
Thank you very much, Shantanu. As usual, good and a lot of food for thought. May I now request Mr. Sanjay Sarup, Director, International Marketing, Conde Corporation. Namaskar.
Good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, I will like to express my thanks and gratitude to Maritime Gateway for giving me an opportunity to express my views. My earlier speakers on the panel, esteemed speakers, have already told most of the things that I wanted to say. They have made my job very easy. But I like to endorse the views of Captain Tiwari that we have to re-engineer our product according to the demand of the market. Now the demand of the market is not only having ICD or CFS. Customer wants value addition to their cargo, which is a very, very key thing for them, like packaging, repackaging, barcoding, and labeling, packing, what all they all want to do at the place where they want to bring their cargo and transport it. So now the in thing is multimodal logistic park, and we can call them logistic park or multimodal logistic park. We in Concor call them as multimodal logistic park, MMLPs, where we give all facility to customers like handling of EXIM containers, handling of domestic containers, bringing their cargo by road or by rail. Even railway wagons also, we handle railway rakes also. They can bring their cargo by railway rakes, unload the cargo, stuff in the containers, and we facilitate movement, outward movement for export leg after doing the value addition. Similarly, for import, the cargo can come to our services, our facilities in import containers. They can de-stuff at the warehouse. We give them opportunity to do value addition or for invoicing and distribution. So we were not very strong as far as the first mile, last mile and warehousing was concerned, but we have shifted focus to these two aspects of value chain, supply chain for the last 4 years. And now I am very happy to inform the trade, members of the trade and esteemed members of this conference, that we have got given a lot of focus on first mile, last mile logistics, as well as warehousing. And in fact, we are doing it, we have already launched the phase 1 of our mobile app, that through mobile app, customer can book last mile, first mile logistics about their containers, which are coming to our facility. They don't have to be physically present. On the mobile app itself, they can do. Similarly, we are focusing a lot on warehousing, which will be a big value addition centers for our customers. Almost logistic parks that we are planning, it is of the area of more than 200 acres each. So we need that much space to create massive warehousing for our customers. We have 4 million square feet of warehousing on Pan India at all our terminals. Our target is to make it to 10 million square feet in the next 3 to 4 years, and more than double we want to make our warehousing. And distribution logistics is another area which needs a lot of focus for our customers. Apart from that, we provide the extended free time of 45 days free time for loaded containers, import, export, and 90 days free time for empty containers at all the facility on Pan India. And we have implemented very unique service for our customers, Know Your Container Location, that is KYCL. All the containers which are there in our facility in Concor, customer can just, on his mobile, he can just type the container number and it will immediately tell the exact location of the container at our facility. So we call this continuous cargo visibility. Continuous cargo visibility to customers, because once they give the container and cargo to us, they repose their trust and faith. So they have all the right to know the exact location. Where is the cargo? Where is the container? Just by pressing the number, they can come to know at all our facilities on Pan India. So we have been using IT tools in a long way. We are now developing AI-based IT solutions for terminal management for our all the terminals. So I feel that these value addition things and the facility to our customers, these are the main objectives that we should focus on. We should not concentrate only on custom clearance and ICDs and CFSs. I feel customer wants more, and we should be ready to give it to them. And of course, having said that, ICDs and CFS don't lose their relevance also. It is not that they will become irrelevant very soon. At port side, CFSs have got their own relevance. They are very important facilities. And this was amply demonstrated during the time of global pandemic, when Customs Department notified some port side CFSs at extended gates of the ports because ports were getting badly congested. So to maintain the fluidity, because the ships, vessels were coming, so to maintain their discharge, and the extended gates were notified at Mulund at JNPT and Tondiarpet near Chennai port. So we extended our train services and evacuation was done from from Chennai port and JNPT almost in the span of 1.5 months. Total we moved around 21,000 TEUs combined at both the places. So it helped to maintain the fluidity of port terminals, and it was widely appreciated by trade and port authorities. So I feel that ICDs and CFSs will continue to be relevant, but at the same time, we have to re-engineer our services as per the demand of the trade to maintain the faith of customers, so that when customers enters a facility, he doesn't have to go anywhere else. All the services are available at under one roof. He doesn't have to run from pillar to post for warehousing, for value addition, then for the dispatch of his product. Everything should be available at one place so that when he comes to a facility, he gets everything there within the minimum time and at the economic cost. He is able to deliver, we are able to deliver goods to him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sarup. Container Corporation and I have worked together from 1988 and 89 and developing the ICDs and all. So I have a special feeling for it. And what you are saying, one-stop shop, needs a lot of land and facility to be developed, which you have. I don't know how many others have. Now that we have had a view from a shipping line and logistic player, Container Corporation, the ICD biggest player, and CFS, now I would request Mr. Sant to speak, Dr. Pramod Sant to speak as an importer, the man whose cargo we work for. And he matters a lot to us because ultimately everything we do is for him. So please, all over for you, sir.
Yeah. So thank you, Lal sir. I think it is really pleasure, and I saw entire agenda and found that I am the only one so-called end customer for all of you in the panel. So, and thank you for this comment that as a customer, and I was really listening since morning, all the talks on this. So first, before I start, I really wanted to thank all CFS management, their team, who has really helped us in the lockdown situation. And I was, when really we started taking deliveries out, I was in touch with various people, and I know that in night also 11:30, 2 o'clock, we are taking deliveries. So I think all these efforts are really tremendous. And this was a situation where people have put their life and risk so much they were taken. So really appreciate that, and I wanted to really acknowledge this in this forum. Now, after this, when we come to the topic, really, if you look at today, I will cover this into 3 parts. One is a policy part where it has been talked much already by all the people who are creating policy, and one which you are in the business of the CFS business. So I won't talk much on that. But having said so, today when we see a concentration of CFS around JNPT, 34 or 35 numbers, we see that much more the competition is between them itself, and which is also affecting them. So as we say, in market, the people who are able to manage their cost better, those who are able to give good services, they will survive. Definitely it will happen. And whether it should be regulated by policy or let market decide, I think this is a debatable subject. And as everybody has spoken, you cannot balance on that. After that, I look at 2 more important points. Everybody talk of we are going to transform, or we are going to change, or we are going to give value add service. So when you talk about value add service, there are 2 important characteristics I wanted to tell. One is a value, what value you are creating and what price it is available. So it's very important that the difference between value created by you is higher than the price. Then the customers will be always jump on such services. So what values you are going to create and what is the price for that is important. Because when you are in CFS, we are talking about storage, you are talking about kitting, you are talking about various services. There are already people available in this area who are well established and knows the trade probably equally like you or more than you. So when you create a value, you need to see that you will be competing with them, but at the same time, you have some advantages on your side. You are close to ports, you are close to cargo, you are already connected more with customs. So how you will create this value is very important. As a customer, when, as I mentioned, I get more value for what price I am going to pay. When value is higher, we have no issue in having any type of service provider. And again, these silos which are created by policy or by business, whether it is CFS, ICD or bonded warehouse, I think they need to come into under one umbrella, which will help us also. Because today we go on comparing what are the benefits of AO, SCZ, FTWZ, bonded warehouse, and conclusions are very confusing. So it is very important that this is really taken care of. Another point is that we talked about FTWZ. Yes, this model has got a really good potential. Inbound manufacturing, we were lucky to start one of the manufacturing unit in Goa under bond. It has got advantages and we need to really look into that. Similarly, the storage, very important that project cargo which is coming, when you see same need to be compiled somewhere near port. I think CFS is in best position to store that such domestic cargo. So you need to see on that, because project cargo we cannot store more away from ports, or we cannot store at factory which is near to a port. So this is very important. Specialized packing is also one more area which can be looked into. How to give a customer better transport facility, whether it is kitting, etc. So the very important is from basic services, how you will go to efficient services and how you will go to value addition. These are the 3 steps which you need to look into. And my final point is very important, the collaboration or approach to the customer. If you look at today, terminals are also coming to the importers exporter. CFS also goes to the importer exporter, but mainly major importer or exporter where there is a good volume. I have examples of the air cargo handling agencies right from the Hyderabad or from Chennai coming to Maharashtra and telling what cargo can be diverted to the Hyderabad, or what cargo can be given it to Delhi for faster and efficiency. So it needs to be that CFS need to do their marketing very well. Secondly, there is a very big sector of MSME manufacturer within India which needs to be tapped. If you approach them and if you give them convenience that yes, I will be able to give you more, because they are far away from port and they need better good system, more transparency, and that is a really area which you can tap along with the district industrial association, where the MSME really need help. They are looking for efficient approach, low cost and time bound operations for their exports. So I think this is one area. So with this, I think I will close my talk, and I'm quite sure the CFS, the way which they have taken the challenges from DPD or in various areas, I think they will take this challenge, and we look forward for really their transformation with value add what we are expecting. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Lal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sant. And thank you very much, all the panelists. Let me just summarize and say 2 things. Shipping, we all belong to shipping and logistic business, and we are always there to change. We also know the value and the price, how important it is. Historically, from the terminals, the ship sizes, the logistic, the container sizes, all has been done in order to get higher productivity and cheaper cost. The logistic players, CFS players and ICD players will certainly make these changes and much faster. I like the point Deepak has made, Deepak Tiwari, saying that these permission for change of usage has to be automatic or near automatic, because we need to change very fast, and the permissions were given on a particular thing. So if that can happen, and maybe the government can help or the ports can help use these facilities more for the value added. Of course, a lot needs to be done. It will mean a big challenge, which the CFS and ICD operators will take. But we have to also understand the labor and the workers are used to a particular way of working, and to change will take time. And those are very organized working forces. So it will take time, but I'm sure we will come and take these challenges and move forward and look for government and port support in as much of customs. So thank you very much, everybody. It was a nice session. And thank you all the panelists. And Ram Prasad, it's all over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dinesh Lalji, and I thank
you.
all the panelists, Captain Deepak Tiwari, Dr. Pramod Shantanu, and Sanjay Swarup for their valuable insights. And if time permitted, we would have continued the discussion on this most important topic of business re-engineering. A couple of announcements before moving on to the next program. One, there are questions being posted. I want the participants to note that we will definitely come back with answers to you because on this platform, due to paucity of time, we cannot answer the questions. But nevertheless, we will coordinate with the respective panelists and the keynote speakers to give you responses. So continue to post the questions. My team is recording all the questions, so we will get back to you.